Today we're going to sort of crack that open a bit. We're diving into the tech behind it, and it's surprisingly accessible, actually, using some clever tinkering and, well, tools that are pretty readily available.
Exactly. We're looking specifically at setting up something called a Pluto software-defined radio, or Pluto SDR.
SDR, right?
Yeah, and using it for DVB-S2 transmission. DVB-S2, that's digital video broadcasting. Basically a standard for sending digital TV signals.
Okay.
And what's really cool is how this relatively affordable bit of kit can work with software most people know, like OBS, Open Broadcaster software,
Oh, yeah, OBS. Loads of people use that for streaming.
for sure. And even other devices like the GoStream or OC device.
And we're basing this on a really great source, aren't we? A YouTube video transcript.
That's right, from the channel VK310. It's not theoretical. It's, a practical hands-on demo of someone actually doing this live.
So we're getting a proper look at a real DIY broadcast setup.
Exactly. And our mission here really is to pull out the key steps, the main ideas for how you use this Pluto SDR to send live video.
And make it understandable, maybe even exciting.
Hopefully.
Yep.
Because, this kind of tech used to be just for the big broadcasters. Now, it's within reach for individuals, small groups. Think
Wow.
about that. Hyperlocal news, teaching, maybe even art projects.
Opens up a lot. Okay, so let's get into the nuts and bolts. This Pluto SDR device, what's its core job here? Turning video into a broadcast signal.
Fundamentally, yes. In this setup, the Pluto SDR is the thing that generates the radio frequency signal, the RF signal.
The actual radio wave.
Right. It takes the digital stream, your video, your audio, and puts it onto that wave at a specific frequency. It's the electronic voice, if you like.
Okay, and the video, it shows a chain of equipment connected to it. Pretty simple looking, actually.
Yeah, it's quite an elegant little setup. So the Pluto SDR output goes into a preamp first, a PHA-1 they mentioned.
Preamp, so like a little booster.
Exactly. Gives the signal an initial kick. Then that goes into a proper RF amplifier running at 2.3 gigahertz in the demo to give it the power to travel.
Okay, more power for more distance.
Yep. And finally, that amplified signal goes to the antenna. They called it a grid pack antenna. That's what actually radiates the signal, sends it out.
Got it. Now, something I thought was interesting. The Pluto isn't just blasting out a signal the second it's on, is it? It seems to wait.
That's a great observation. Yeah, it starts in what's called a quiescent state.
Quiescent.
It's powered up. It's drawing a little bit of current, but it's not actively transmitting any significant RF power. It's kind of on standby, waiting for instructions.
And those instructions, they come via the network. That seems key.
Absolutely crucial. So the Pluto connects via USB, right? But in the demo, that USB cable goes to a power brick that also has an Ethernet port built in.
Ah, okay. So power and network through one connection point.
Exactly. That Ethernet connection gets the Pluto onto the local network so you can talk to it, control it.
Makes sense.
The video even mentions an alternative, like an Amazon adapter that does the same thing. Power and Ethernet integrated into one USB plug. Keeps things neat.
Right. Handy. So yeah, being on the network, it's fundamental.
Totally.
Okay, so the Pluto's online, waiting quietly. How do we get, say, a YouTube video playing on a computer? How do we pipe that into this broadcast chain? That's where OBS comes in, I guess.
Precisely.
Yeah.
OBS, Open Broadcaster Software, is kind of the control center here. It takes your video sources, could be a camera, your screen, a video file, and your audio.
Mixes it all together.
Yeah, mixes it and codes into a digital stream ready for the Pluto to transmit.
Now, the video showed this really clever trick with an HDMI dummy dongle. What was that about?
Yeah. That's a neat little workaround. It's basically a tiny plug that pretends to be a monitor. You plug it into your HDMI port.
And the computer thinks there's a second screen attached, even if there isn't one physically.
Exactly. It thinks, oh, I've got another display.
Okay, hang on. Why? Why would you want to trick your computer like that? What's the benefit?
Well, the benefit is mainly for OBS in this setup.
Yeah.
By creating this sort of phantom second display, OBS gets a dedicated screen area it can use just for your broadcast sources.
Ah, I see. So even if you only have one real monitor, OBS can manage a separate output screen.
Right. It's super useful if you're controlling things remotely, or if you just want a clean feed that's separate from whatever else you're doing on your main screen.
Okay.
The demo actually shows it quite well, plugging the dongle in, and suddenly a second display appears in the Windows settings. Unplug it, it vanishes.
Simple but effective. And then you can just drag, say, a YouTube window onto that fake screen.
That's exactly what they did. Dragged the YouTube video onto that virtual display. And because OBS sees it as a real display.
It can capture just that screen as the source for the broadcast.
Precisely. You tell OBS, grab the video from monitor 2, which is our dummy dongle.
Clever. Okay, so I've got our source feeding into OBS via this virtual screen. How do we tell OBS, okay, send this stream out over the network to the Pluto? Must be some specific settings involved there.
You bet. This is where the OBS stream settings come in. Normally you'd pick YouTube or Twitch, right?
Yeah, choose a service, paste in a stream key.
Right, but here you're streaming directly to the Pluto's IP address. And the stream key isn't just random letters and numbers, it's actually a string of commands for the Pluto.
Commands? Like what?
Well, the key shown starts with the Pluto's IP address, then a colon, then the port number 2F67 in the example.
Okay, standard network stuff so far.
Then comes the broadcasting stuff, the frequency you want to transmit on, the DVB-S2 modulation, QPSK in the demo.
Just QPS? Okay.
The symbol rate that was 4,000, the FEC, or forward error correction rate 34, even the Pluto's output power, set to 0 dBm, which is max power for it.
Wow.
And it includes the audio bitrate, 128 kilobps, and finally the user's call sign, which sort of acts as the unique ID for the stream.
That is a lot of information packed into one key. How do you figure all that out?
Good question. As the video mentions, that info usually comes from the Pluto's firmware documentation.
Ah, the software running on the Pluto itself.
Exactly. The firmware notes will tell you what parameters you can set and exactly how to format this command string.
Right. And what about other OBS settings, like video quality, bitrate, audio? Do those need specific settings too?
Yeah, they're important too. The demo showed an output bitrate of 3,000 kilobps. That's the data rate of the video stream.
Okay.
Audio settings were 48 kilohertz stereo. And interestingly, they routed desktop audio number 2 specifically to that virtual screen. Meaning only the audio playing on that virtual screen, like the sound from that YouTube video we dragged onto it, gets captured and sent in the stream, not, system sounds from your main desktop.
Ah, neat trick for isolating audio and video settings.
Standard stuff, mostly. 1080 resolution and 25 frames per second. Pretty typical for this kind of broadcast.
Okay, OBS is configured. Stream key is loaded with commands. What happens when you hit start streaming? Does the Pluto just burst into life?
That's exactly it. The moment they click Start Streaming, OBS, the video shows the needle jump on the ammeter measuring current to the RF power amplifier.
Oh, cool. A visible sign it's working.
Yeah, a very tangible sign that the Pluto got the message, it's activated, generating RF, and the amplifier is boosting it.
Proof of transmission.
Absolutely. And they even gave a quick shot of the picture appearing live on a TV connected to a receiver. Instant confirmation. It's quite satisfying to see it all click together.
Definitely. Okay, so OBS is one route, but the GoStream device, the OC, was mentioned as well. How does that fit in?
Right, the GoStream OC is shown as another option. It's more of a dedicated hardware box for streaming.
So instead of software on a PC, it's a physical device.
Exactly. It manages video sources and streams them out. So if someone already has that kind of hardware, it can also work with the Pluto.
How's the setup different compared to OBS? Is it the same principle?
The goal's the same. Send a stream to the Pluto, but the interface is different. You're using the GoStream's own software.
Okay.
And typically within that software, you'd select something like a custom URL or custom RTMP output. That's where you tell it where the Pluto is.
RTMP, that's a real-time messaging protocol.
Yep, Common Streaming Protocol. And you need to give it a specific RTMP string.
And I bet that string looks familiar.
You guessed it. The video shows the string, RTMP, then the Pluto's IP address and port, /, then the frequency, and all those DVB-S2 parameters, again, modulation, QPSK, symbol rate 4000, FEC 34, output 0, audio 128, call sign.
So pretty much the same set of instructions as the OBS stream key, just formatted for RTMP.
Exactly the same core information, just in the RTMP format that the GoStream expects.
Right. Does it work just as well?
Yeah.
The demo seemed to show it switching sources smoothly.
Yeah, it worked great. They pointed out one small quirk you might still need to enter a separate, traditional stream key in the GoStream interface, even though the call sign is in the URL. Just depends on how that specific device handles things.
Minor detail.
Right. And then, yeah, they demoed switching live between a test pattern and the Windows desktop view, all going out smoothly via the GoStream through the Pluto.
Yeah.
Shows the Pluto's flexible, works with different upstream gear.
Looking at both methods then, OBS and GoStream,
Yeah,
what's the big win from having the Pluto on the network like this? Seems really powerful.
the flexibility is huge.
Mm,
Because it's on the network, you can control it remotely. You don't have to be right next to it.
right.
And that opens up possibilities like using sources from different computers on the network, or even different locations feeding into the same Pluto, potentially.
Interesting. Like one person handling video, another handling audio, maybe?
Could be. Or just having your transmitter set up somewhere convenient, maybe near the antenna, while you control it from your office or studio space.
It really feels like it lowers the barrier to entry, doesn't it, for getting content out there?
Massively. Especially if you've already got a PC and you know your way around OBS a bit. The cost and complexity drop way down compared to traditional broadcast gear.
Yeah.
And it's not just a theoretical thing. The video stresses that this firmware, the software enabling this, it's been out since 2021. The amateur radio community is actively using it.
For what kind of things?
For things like RTV radio television, and even for talking through the Q100 satellite. That's a geostationary satellite amateurs can use.
Wow, okay. So it's proven technology within that community.
Definitely. Shows real ingenuity there.
The demo also quickly showed accessing the Pluto directly via its IP address in a web browser. What does that give you?
Right. Accessing the Pluto's web interface is useful. You can usually see its network settings, their IP address, gateway, that kind of thing.
Check it's connected properly.
Exactly. And crucially, it often shows the device's current status. Like, is it actively streaming right now?
Okay, useful diagnostic.
Very. And, as the video pointed out, often the firmware's homepage itself, right there in the web interface, has the documentation. It might show you exactly how to format that RTMP string or give you setup guides for OBS.
So the instructions might be built right in. Handy.
Often, yes. Saves hunting around.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. If someone's listened to this deep dive, what are the main things they should take away about using a Pluto SDR for live video?
I think the main thing is that this Pluto SDR, once you get it on your network and you use software like OBS or maybe a device like the GoStream, it becomes a surprisingly straightforward and really powerful tool for transmitting live digital video, DVB-S2 specifically.
It's taking something that seems complex and making it accessible.
Totally. It's a great example of using relatively low-cost, available tech in really smart ways. It kind of, democratizes broadcasting a bit.
Yeah, definitely feels that way. And hopefully for you listening, for the learner persona we talked about, this has pulled back the curtain a bit, demystified the process.
We hope so. It shows that broadcasting your own stuff, live video, it's more achievable than maybe you thought.
For sure.
Which leads to maybe a final thought to leave people with.
Yeah.
If this tech is becoming so accessible, what other kinds of, creative or unexpected uses could emerge? Especially with the Pluto being networked, what about remote operations? Or even like collaborative broadcasts from multiple places feeding into one transmitter? What does that unlock?
Yeah, some really interesting possibilities there, things we might not have even considered yet.
Definitely food for thought.
Absolutely. And if this has piqued your interest and you want to learn more, definitely search for Pluto SBR, maybe OBS streaming to Pluto, and check out that VK3Tech YouTube channel mentioned in our source.
Yeah, great resources out there. It's a fascinating area where software meets radio.
Couldn't agree more. Lots to explore.